Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dr. Joe's writing and reading class. How's everyone doing? If you're doing good, you can give it thumbs up. Hopefully, you're all enjoying the beautiful weather for the past couple of days. Glad to know you're doing well, David. Thanks for the thumbs up. All right, so we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump straight into the class content. So, starting off with today's agenda, just the usual. We're going to be starting off with a quiz. So remember, you'll have 20-30 seconds to answer each question. You will be required to send the answers into the chat privately to me so that other people don't see your answers. Um, Before we start, did you guys do your homework? I just want to do a little quick check-in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Ethan. Kevin, thank you. David, I see your homework response in the chat, so remember to copy and paste that when we get to that slide. Okay, perfect. Ethan, did you get a chance to do your homework?
Yeah, but I didn't get to go to class last week.
Oh, it's all right. Okay. Oh yeah, I think you were missing. All right. So thank you guys for doing your homework, and for trying your best. So we're going to be moving on with the first question then. So blank, this word is a noun, and it means a foretelling or prediction of what is to come. So what is this word? Please send it in the chat. All right, perfect. We're going to be moving on to question 2. If you still haven't typed your answer into the chat, please remember to do so. Moving on to question 2. This word is a noun and it means someone injured or killed in an accident. So what is this word? Perfect. So you guys are actually very quick with answering that question. So we're going to be moving on to the next one. Question 3. This word is an adjective. It means not genuine, imitating something superior. What is this word? All right, perfect. Thank you all. Moving on to the next one. The last and final question, everyone. This is an idiom, and the idiom means to betray or sacrifice someone, especially a friend or coworker, for personal gain or to avoid blame. What is this word, or what is this idiom? Couple of more seconds. We are missing one response. Kevin, you can just try your best. Doesn't have to be right. All right, thank you so much, Kevin. All right, so we're going to be moving back up to question 1. Okay, David, do you want to go ahead and tell us the answer for this one?
Prophecy.
Good job. Yes. So you got it correct. However, the spelling is a bit different, and I understand that the spelling for this word is a bit hard, okay? So instead of an S, it's a C. All right. So if you guys got this question right, please give yourself a point. Moving on to question 2. Ethan, do you want to go ahead?
Casualty.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Casualty. So casualty is someone injured or killed in an accident. Moving on to the question 3. Rubia, do you want to go ahead?
Counterfeit.
Counterfeit. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, Rubia. So yeah, counterfeit is not genuine, imitating something superior. So for example, money can be counterfeit. Counterfeit money, for example. It's not genuine and it imitates something superior, which is actual money, which you can use to buy things. All right, moving on to the last and final question. David, do you want to go ahead and tell us the idiom?
To throw them under the bus.
Yeah, so to throw someone under the bus. Good job. All right, so that is the end of the quiz, everyone. Thank you so much for participating and actively engaging and answering the questions. Please type your scores, and it's out of 4. Oh, Kevin, yeah, I see that you thought it was a word, but yeah, it was actually an idiom. Perfect. So seems like you're all improving. Keep doing the homework. You guys will all do well. Um, let's see. David, 4.3, what do you mean by that? 3 out of 4?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Seems like Lee is not here today. All right. Thank you guys all for sending in your scores. You guys did a good job. Remember, just keep reviewing the homework and also feel free to ask any questions that you have if you're having any trouble with any questions. So let's move on to the next slide. So I'm gonna copy and paste, David, the paragraph you wrote. If we have time at the end, we will look over it. Oh, hi, Lee. Oh, Lee, when did you join? Did you just join or were you here before? Oh, you just joined. All right, perfect. Welcome, Lee. Thank you so much for popping into class. So we just finished the quiz. Um, I'll still write that you were present, okay? All right. That way Dr. Joe knows that you were still here. All right, so other than David, did anybody do the writing assignment part of the homework? If you didn't, that's all right as well.
I did. Was it like the change my mind thing?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So just copy and paste it into the chat, and then if anybody else also did it as well, copy and paste it in the chat, and if we have time at the end, we will take it up. And then we'll move into the vocabulary section of today's class. Thank you, Rubia. Thank you, Ethan. All right, so if you also did your homework as well, just copy and paste that, and then I'll make sure to put it onto the slide. But for now, we're going to be moving on to the vocabulary. All right, so today we have 3 new terms. Hopefully, hopefully maybe you've seen them before, but you don't know the definition to. So we're going to be starting off with the first term. I'm not going to say it because I want to see if you all know how to pronounce this word. So please raise up your hand if you'd like to participate and read this slide.
I can.
Okay, go ahead, Ethan.
Reluctantly.
Perfect,
Meaning
yeah.
with no enthusiasm or desire to do something, somewhat unwillingly. Example: I left her home reluctantly and I'm sick at heart.
Perfect, good job. Thank you so much, Ethan. You said that word perfectly. Pronounced it perfectly, I mean. So yeah, so reluctantly means doing something with no enthusiasm or desire to do it. So somewhat unwillingly. So for example, I left our home reluctantly and sick at heart. Could somebody go ahead and explain to me what that means? I left our home reluctantly and sick at heart. I left her home reluctantly and sick at heart. Does that mean this person wanted to leave her home? Didn't want to leave her at home? Like, what is this trying to say, the sentence?
She doesn't want to go leave.
Yeah, so let's just say this was a father. Let's just say a father was like talking about this, and the father said, I left her home reluctantly and sick at heart. Like, let's just say he had to leave his daughter at home. He didn't want, so basically, if that was the sentence, then the dad didn't want to leave his daughter at home. He didn't have any desire to do that or any enthusiasm to leave her at home, and he left sick at heart. Do you guys understand? Perfect. I see a thumbs up, David. All right, so if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know. Maybe another example could be, I reluctantly went on the trip, even though I had a lot of things to do at home. So like that basically means I went on the trip without having any desire or enthusiasm on going the trip because I had a lot of other things to do at home. For example, like I have work. I didn't want to go on the trip. So that's what the word reluctantly would mean in that sentence. I reluctantly went on the trip. All right. Now, just another example, just to help you all. We're going to be moving on to the next term. Please raise up your hand if you'd like to participate. Anyone? Go ahead, David.
Sterile adjective. Free from
Sterile.
sterile adjective. Free from bacteria or any other living microorganisms. Totally clean. Example. All the equipment is ready and sterile.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David. Yes, so sterile. I know it is kind of, the wording is kind of a bit off, but yeah, it's pronounced sterile. So sterile is just describing something that is free from bacteria or other living microorganisms. So it's totally clean. So for example, it says the equipment is ready and sterile. What does that mean? Before I don't want to tell you guys. So what does that mean? The equipment is ready and sterile. Is the equipment dirty?
No, it doesn't have any bacteria.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David. Yes, correct. So it doesn't have any microorganisms, doesn't have any bacteria. And this is especially important in like situations such as surgeries where doctors and surgeons have to use equipment that is free from any bacteria or microorganisms, because if you're using if you're using equipment that's going into somebody's body, and if it has bacteria, it may cause infections in the body. It may lead to diseases, for example, or like this is something super specific, but sepsis. Sepsis is basically when there's like an outbreak of like bacteria during like a surgery, and it can actually lead to people dying as well. So that's why it's very important to have sterile equipment so that they don't go into a person's body when like surgeries are happening, for example. You think what else? Do you guys have any other examples of a sterile situation? Where do you think having sterile equipment is important other than surgeries?
In the science lab,
Yeah, perfect, Ruby. Yeah, do you want to describe why?
because if bacteria or other microorganism go in a special equipment or a liquid, it may cause chemical reactions.
Yeah,
That
correct. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Rubia talked about how like in research labs it's important to have sterile equipment because if let's just say you're doing an experiment and it's exposed to like these bacteria or microorganisms, it may cause a chemical reaction, or it may cause like the results of your research study to be deviated from what it's actually supposed to be because of this like these other bacteria that are coming and ruining your project, right? So good job, Rubia, for bringing that up. All right, so we're going to be moving on to the next term. I feel like this one's pretty easy. Who wants to participate? Lee, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Cavern, a large cave. I got stuck in a cavern before.
Perfect, good job. Thank you so much, Lee. Yeah, so cavern is a noun, okay, and it is a large cave. Example, I got stuck in a cavern before. So this one's pretty straightforward. Just basically saying that this person got stuck in a large cave before. Has anybody ever been in a cavern? No one? I know maybe there are caverns in like video games that some people play. For example, I know another one of my students, they talk about caverns in Minecraft. But yeah, so that's what a cavern is. All right, so that is the end of the vocabulary section. Here we have 3 words that we looked at. So I'm going to get you guys to create a sentence using one of these words. Or you can even like try to include 3 of these words in 1 to 2 sentences if you want. I know one of you guys did that before in last class where you used all 3 words in 1 sentence or 2 or 3 sentences. If you guys want to challenge yourself, you can go ahead and do that. But if you just want to create that 1 sentence with 1 word, that's totally fine as well. All right, so I'll give you guys around 5 minutes to do this activity and then we'll take it up. So your time starts now. One second, everyone. My PowerPoint disappeared, so just give me 1 second. So while I wait for it to come up, it seems that it's updating, like the software that I'm using. So try to create your sentences. I'll send the words in the chat, all right? Do you guys see the words in the chat? Perfect. Thank you, Kevin. All right, so I got a couple of responses. I'm going to start copying and pasting them to the chat. So we're just waiting for Lee and Kevin. So while we wait for them, we'll start taking up the sentences that we have so far. So David, do you want to go ahead and read your sentence for us?
I went to see the new cavern in downtown Nashville.
Perfect. So I went to see the new cavern in downtown Nashville. All right, it looks really good to me. I don't think there's any mistakes in the sentence. So good job, David. If you have any questions regarding anything else, feel free to let me know. But we're going to be moving on to Ethan.
He reluctantly walked into the cavern. He hated dirty environments. After all, he loved keeping things sterile.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ethan. So I'm just gonna look at it once more. All right, so I am looking at the sentence. I would say that we should add a period somewhere here. So where do you think we should add a period?
Probably replacing the comma.
Yes, but which comma? This comma or this comma?
The second one.
Yeah, correct. So he reluctantly walked into the cavern. Period. And then we could also say we could also keep the comma here too. Or we could even say because he hated dirty environments. What do you think we should do?
I think yeah, that's good.
That's fine? All right, perfect. So he reluctantly, let me get rid of this. I don't know why this is showing. He reluctantly walked into the cavern. He hated dirty environments. After all, he loved keeping things sterile. I don't even think we need the after all part two. He reluctantly walked into the cavern. He hated dirty environments. He loved keeping things sterile. That looks really good, Ethan. All right. Just gonna highlight the period, but other than that, it looks really good, Ethan. Good job. Moving on to Rubia.
Reluctantly, I went into a cavern because of the severe storm.
Perfect. Yeah, reluctantly, I went into the cavern because of this real storm. Perfect. Good job, Ruby. I don't think we have to make any changes to your sentence. Keep up the good work. All right, so I see Kevin and Lee sent their sentences, so I'm going to copy and paste them. Go ahead, Kevin.
The nurse cleaned the cut with a sterile wipe to make sure it didn't get infected.
Perfect. Good job, Kevin. The nurse cleaned the cut with a sterile wipe to make sure it didn't get infected. Awesome. No mistakes within your sentence, so keep up the good work. Moving on to Lee.
I walked in and realized the cavern was giant.
Perfect. Good job, Lee. So I walked in and realized the cavern was giant. Good job, Lee. I don't think we have to make any edits. Sometimes some people would say that we don't need a comma here, but it really depends on the way that we say the sentence. So if you're saying it like, I walked in and realized the cavern was giant. So if we took a break here, then that would make sense to put a comma. It just depends on the way you read it. So we can leave that comma there as well. All right, so I think that is all. I have all 5 responses from each and every one of you. So keep up the good work. How did you guys find the new words? Like, did you guys find them difficult? Have you guys seen them before?
I've seen 2 of them, but not sterile.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so you've seen 2 of them, except sterile. Did you know the definitions to the 2 terms that you knew?
Yeah.
All right, so maybe I should start making these words a bit harder then. What about the rest of you? Oh, have you guys seen these words before? I really gotta know so I can figure out what words to use next time if I should use harder words or not. Kevin, Lee, Rubia, what do you guys think?
I've seen all of them.
Seen all of them? Rubia, Kevin? I mean, Rubia? All right, doesn't seem like Rubia's here. Maybe it's in the chat. Rubia, wait 1 second. Yeah, you've seen reluctantly and sterile. All right, perfect. Okay, so now that I know that you guys have seen these words before, now I know that I will make the words a bit harder for next class. All right, so thank you all for giving your feedback. We're going to be now moving on to, maybe we should move on to the reading. We'll move on to the reading, then the idiom, and then the speaking debate. And then if we have time, we'll also do that writing activity as well, if we do have time. Because last time we didn't do the story, so we'll do it this time. All right, how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. There's 5 of you. Also, each of you will read 1 slide. So today's story or the article we're looking at is on plastic pollution. Let's get straight into it with the first slide. So who wants to go first and read this slide? David, okay. Before we start, David, just letting you guys know that there are a couple of questions at the end. So try your best to pay attention to the slides. All right. So David, you can get started and start reading the first slide.
The world embarked on an immediate and globally coordinated effort to reduce our plastic consumption. There
All right,
was
wait, let's pause for a second. Let's try this again, okay? So let's break it up, okay? How do you say this? Yeah,
consumption.
perfect. Good job, David. Yeah.
Our plastic consumption, there would still be an estimated 710 million metric tons of plastic that will pollute the environment by 2040. New research has found. The study from a group of international resources and published in the journal Science on Thursday found that even in a best case scenario, where the amount of plastic pollution was reduced by 80% by 2040, there would still be a massive buildup of accumulated plastic.
Good job, David. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to be moving on to the next slide. Who would like to participate?
I can.
All right, go ahead, Ethan.
The biggest takeaway from our work is that if we don't do anything, the plastic pollution problem is going to become unmanageable. Doing nothing is not an option, said Dr. Winnie Law, co-author of this study and senior manager for Pew's Preventing Ocean Plastic campaign. Law called their findings a good news situation because while the plastic pollution problem is set to get worse, we have all the knowledge, technology, and tools to make a huge dent. The team found that serious ramped up global efforts could cut plastic pollution by 40% from 2016 levels, or 78% relative to a business or usual model by 2040.
Perfect. Good job, Ethan. Thank you. Next slide. Kevin, Lee, Rubia, which one of you want to participate and read this?
Again.
Go ahead, Rubia. Yeah.
Millions of tons of plastic enter the ocean every year, polluting the seas, threatening beaches, and endangering wildlife. Plastic particles have been found in soils, in the atmosphere, and even the most remote regions of Earth, such as Antarctica. Microplastics are also eaten by fish and other sea creatures, where they enter the food chain.
Perfect. Thank you, Rubia. Next. Kevin, do you want to go?
Okay, plastic pollution. Do we really want to be genuine guinea pigs for a global experiment? He said to avoid a plastic pile up greater than the estimated 710 million metric tons, 782 US tons by 2040. The team said coordinated global action is needed. That means reduce plastic consumption, increasing the rates of reusing plastic, improving waste collection and recycling, the expanding safe the disposal system, and everyone is needed to do their part. This isn't a problem for developing world. This is a problem for everyone to solve, said Lardy.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kevin. And Lee, we do have a big paragraph here for you. Do you want to go ahead and read it for us?
One of the biggest challenges to changing our plastic habits is helping people connect the dots between the plastics they consume and the pollution on our beaches and the seas. Plastic takes years, sometimes hundreds of years, to decompose. Going into schools to raise awareness, Stroke says he uses the example of the 16th century playwright William Shakespeare, saying, if he had a cup with a straw from 1711 at that time, the plastic would still be there now.
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven at that time, the plastic would still be there now. And that's quite scary, he said. Because plastic is so cheap, there is a need to make alternatives to plastic economically viable so people will start to take them seriously. I think it's a culmination of, yes, we have
Culmination.
the culmination of, yes, culmination.
Perfect. Good job. Yeah.
Of, yes, we have the technology. We just need the willpower to want to do it, Stokes said.
Perfect. Good job. All right. Thank you all for reading today's article. Hopefully you were able to pay attention because now we have a couple of questions. So some of these questions are not directly within the text itself. So you're going to have to critically think based on what we read. So first question is, how can we reduce the use of plastic? Second one is, what should the businesses and industry do to help our plastic pollution problem? And the third question is, how can we creatively and effectively spread this message about plastic pollution to different communities? So you guys are going to have to use your own knowledge, also using the information that we read about to answer these questions. So they are a bit difficult, but I know you guys can do it. I feel like you guys might have also talked about this within class as well, about plastic pollution and how to reduce it. So if you guys want me to go back to any of these slides, feel free to tell me while you figure out the answers to the questions, all right? So is everybody okay? Does anybody have any questions? So the way I want you guys to write this in the chat is, I'm going to send it in the chat. I'm going to give an example. So you're going to write, there's 3 questions, right? So you're going to be 1 and then answer, 2, answer, And then three answer. So I actually want you to write it all within one chat, okay? And remember to send it to me privately. So this is how I want you to do it, all right? Don't mind the first one. Let me delete that. Does everybody understand? You guys have any questions? Feel free to let me know. I'll give you guys around maybe 5 to 8 minutes for this one, all right? Because it might be a bit difficult. So time starts now.
For number 1, is it from the book?
So you could use your I don't know where it went. You could use your own knowledge as well, or you could even take it from the book as well. So there were a couple of things that they did mention within it though. So for example, this is one section.
Do we have to do it from the book?
If you want to, you can do it from the book, or you can even use it from your own knowledge as well. So yeah, you can think of other ways that are not from the book as well. All right? Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you flip back to slide 35 for a bit?
Is this one?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Can you go back to the questions?
Yeah. I don't know who asked me to go to 35, but are you done with 35? I'm gonna skip over to the questions for Rubio, right? If you still want me to go back to slide 35, please let me know. All right, so we have 4 responses. We're gonna start taking up the answers. But Kevin, how's it coming along? Your response? Hopefully you're almost done. I'm gonna start copying and pasting everybody's response to the chat. All right, so we're gonna start taking it up. So Rubia, do you want to go ahead and read out your response? So for the first question is how can we reduce the use of plastic?
For first question, we can stop providing plastic bags in the stores. For the second question, we can enhance industrial processes and use clean energy resources. For the third one, we can post warnings of pollution damage for humans on the local newspaper.
Good job. Thank you so much, Rubia, for answering the questions. Yeah, I think you have amazing answers for the questions. I also see that you kind of focused it more on the reading, so good job. Thanks for paying attention to the reading. Yeah, so enhance industrial processes, use cleaner energy resources. That was said in the article, and also post warnings of pollution damage for humans on local newspapers. So that will definitely be able to reach a lot of citizens, and hopefully they will be educated on why we should reduce plastic pollution. Right, thank you, Rubia. Moving on to Lee.
Recycling, basically. They
Yeah,
should make a more affordable version of plastic so it is more decomposable and biodegradable. And then
perfect.
3, you could share it by posting it on social media, share it through school, form clubs, and contact already formed clubs.
Perfect. Good job. Yeah. Thank you, Lee, for answering the question. So yeah, so Lee has a couple of different points different from Rubia. I like that you said recycling. Yep. Make affordable versions of plastic and also that are decomposable and biodegradable. Yeah. So finding different resources that can be used, that have like the same purpose of these plastic items, but also they should be made in a way that so that they're biodegradable and they won't stay on this planet for hundreds and thousands of years. And yeah, posting it on social media is a very big one now, especially because a lot of people are on social media. So it could definitely reach a large target population. Okay, moving on to Ethan.
Number 1, trying to recycle as much plastic as possible instead of throwing everything in the trash. 2, businesses can spread awareness by presenting plastic pollution information on their billboards. 3, we can make presentations at school that tell kids about plastic pollution.
Perfect. All right, thank you so much. So yeah, so recycling. Second one, businesses can spread awareness. Yeah, so this one's very different from the other students' response to the second question, which is how should the businesses and industry help our plastic pollution problem? So yeah, so spreading awareness is one way that businesses um, can help the plastic pollution problem. That way, other businesses can also see that using plastic items and products are not the best for our environment. And yeah, last one, similar to Lee's, having presentations at schools. Oh, it's kind of different actually. It's different than kind of different than Lee's, where it's like you're saying that we should maybe have presentations in class, so that students can become more aware of plastic pollution, so that they can take action themselves as well. All right, thank you so much, Ethan. Moving on to David.
Number 1, avoiding single-use plastics. Recycling correctly and adapting reusable alternatives. Number 2, sea animals could die and there will be more plastic than animals in the ocean. Number 3, I forgot I put number 3. Number 3, make signs out of sand and make posters. When someone has plastic near the beach, tell them to throw it away.
Perfect. Yeah, good job. Thank you so much, David. So yeah, so you made a good point of avoiding using single-use plastics. So instead using maybe like a metal cutlery instead of using those plastic forks and spoons that you get at restaurants. Yep, adopting reusable alternatives, kind of similar to what I said. So you said sea animals could die, there would be more plastic than animals in the ocean. So how would you go about answering the second question, which is what should businesses in the industry do to help the plastic pollution problem? So are you saying that businesses should start using biodegradable materials to help combat the problem so that sea animals don't die?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll add that. Yeah. And you said make signs out of sand and make posters. So, all right, so yeah, that's good. So you're saying spreading awareness, and also you're saying that awareness should be spread through word of mouth so that if you see somebody maybe littering, letting them know that do not litter, it's plastic pollution and you may be causing harm to the environment. All right, thank you so much, David. So Kevin, I think we're still waiting for you, but we're going to be moving on to the next section of today's class. So if you're still rating it, just submit it whenever you can. All right. So good job, everyone. Thank you so much for answering these questions. I think you guys did an amazing job, and hopefully, we could all work together to help reduce plastic pollution, and maybe we could adopt reusable alternatives, just like how David said. So now we're going to be moving up to the idiom. Have you guys seen this one before?
Yeah.
So far, one person has seen this one before. What about the rest of you all? You guys did? Okay, so just give me a quick second, okay? I don't want you guys looking at something that you already have done. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a second and I'm gonna bring another one. Have you guys heard of caught between a rock and a hard place?
No.
All right. Just give me a quick second. I just want to make sure that you guys are looking at all. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so who wants to go ahead and read off this slide for the class? David, you want to go ahead?
Caught between a rock and a hard place, meaning to take on a task that is too big
Oh,
or
wait, give me 1 second.
Uh.
Give me 1 second. I want to make sure this is 1 second. All right, go ahead.
Caught between a rock and a hard place, meaning being in a tough situation with no easy or good choices. Example, she was caught between a rock and a hard place, either miss the trip or fail the test.
Perfect. Good job. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm glad that you guys haven't seen this one before. So, caught between a rock and a hard place, again, just means being in a tough situation with no easy or good choices. So, in this example, she was caught between a rock and a hard place, either miss the trip or fail the test. So, both of these choices are not easy or good choices, right? So, when you're writing a sentence using this idiom, you have to think of two choices that are not good two choices. So, for example, I was caught between a rock and a hard place. I either had to miss the end of year party or miss the end of the year party or miss the cross country tournament, for example. Let's just say I was a big cross country athlete. So those are both of them are bad choices. I'm either missing the cross country tournament or I'm either missing the end of year celebration. So that's why I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. And that kind of does make sense if you look at it, if you look at the idiom, caught between a rock and a hard place. So they're basically, a rock is hard and also a hard place is also hard as well. So they're both not good. Do you all understand?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to give you guys around 5 minutes to create one sentence using this idiom. And then we'll start taking it up. So Ethan, I was reading your sentence, right? So he's caught between a rock and a hard place when he decided to try and score the goal. So what was the two hard situations?
Like try to score the goal, but he would probably miss and pass to his teammate, but then he wouldn't score the goal.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay. So he was caught between a rock and a hard place when you could say deciding whether to score the goal, let's just say at a far distance. Because he would probably miss, right? Or pass it to a friend. He was caught between the rock and a hard place when he was deciding whether to score the goal at a far distance or pass it to a friend who was less likely to get the ball in the net. Does that make sense to you? Because it's like now we have two different situations that are both kind of difficult.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Okay, perfect. Okay, just give me a second, Kevin, before we move on. All right, Kevin, do you want to go ahead?
When both of his friends wanted him on their team, Jack felt caught between a rock and a hard place because he didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Perfect. All right, give me a second. Perfect. Yeah. So, but when both of his friends wanted him on their team, so that's the two hard situations. So both of his friends wanted him on his team. Jake felt caught between a rock and a hard place because he didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. All right, good job, Kevin. Thank you. Rubia.
I was caught between a rock and a hard place. Either missed the state cross country championship, skipped AMC, or leaped the track and field competition.
Skip the AMC. So we had to bring this together. Either missed the state cross country championship. Is this part of one thing right here? Is this one bad situation?
No. It is three, but I can say something, or. Like, I don't think two or in a sentence.
Just give me a second. Usually, well, I don't want to say anything that's wrong, because usually a rock and a hard place is just only two situations. But we can keep it here. So skip the AMC or leave the track and field competition. All right. Just give me a second. So I see that you put capital T for track. So there needs to be another F, track and field competition. All right, there needs to be a capital F there. All right, sounds good. Okay, looks good to me, Rubia. Good job. Moving on to David.
He was caught between a rock and a hard place, between going to Disney with his friends or take a test that lets you pass 6th grade.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so he was caught between a rock. So let's look at the word caught. What do we have to change here?
The O to a A.
Perfect. Good job. O to an A. So when you're writing the word caught, just try to remember that it is an A, okay? Caught. He was caught between a rock and a hard place either choosing between he was caught between a rock and a hard place. Either choosing between going to Disneyland. So remember Disneyland is gonna be like this, all right? Oh, give me 1 second, my computer's freezing up. Okay, I think it's working now. So yeah, so Disneyland, remember it is a word that is a compound word like this, right? And there has to be a capital D because it is a place. Disneyland with his friends or take the test that lets you pass 6th grade. Or take the test that lets you pass the 6th grade. All right. Other than these corrections, David, I think it looks really good. Do you have any questions?
No.
No? All right, perfect. Okay, everyone. I think we really only have time to do the speaking debate now. And then we will see if we have any extra time. If so, we'll move on to the writing activity. But let's see what question that we have today. So the question is, should homework be banned in schools? Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. All right, so try to look at it from both sides, pick which one you think you resonate more with. And then this time, you don't have to write it in the chat like how you did before, because I think it made it a bit complicated last time. All right, so I'll give you guys around 4 minutes to think of your points, and then we'll have the rest of the class to share our stance in this debate. Okay, so your time starts now. All right, so it seems like we are done. Who wants to go first and share their stance?
I can.
All right, go ahead, Ethan.
I think homework shouldn't be banned from schools because it gives students a chance to learn more. And my second reason would be like most of the time in a lesson, like school, even though it's like 6 hours about long, splitting it up into like every single subject, it wouldn't really like all like the units wouldn't really fit in a year. But if you have homework, you could like finish something that you started at school at home.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan. Those are very good points. All right, who wants to go next?
I can.
Go ahead, Rubia.
More than half of the surveys online responds in favor of banning homework. About 56% for elementary grades. They're worried about kids not having support or resources at home and taking away their time for creative play or family activities. However, if schools doesn't have homework for students, when the student go back to their house and play games, the next day when they go back to school, they will remember nothing from yesterday's class because they didn't practice what they learned. Also, according to most school students, if they have homework every single day, they will have a better understanding and memory about what is on the last class and have a better grade on the test. Also, for most public schools, there weren't any homework almost, just some fun activities online for like 3 to 5 minutes. For charter school, there are much more homework than public school. However, if you do your homework with patience, it will still be within 15 minutes. And if you're in private school, the homework will be a lot more, and it depends on what class you're in and your grade. It will also be under 20 minutes. So homework doesn't take a lot of time for student, and homework should not be banned.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Rubia, for explaining your stance for the speaking debate. Very good points. Does anybody else want to go next? So I think Rubia went. David, you already went, right?
No.
I think it was Ethan then. All right, so Rubia, Ethan are done. So David, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. I don't think it should be banned because some students struggle when they're like in class. So homework gives them extra extra work so they can know what's about. And if they already know it, then it's easy for them to do their homework. And homework increases your knowledge and can help you study for tests.
Perfect. Good job, David. Yeah, so it can definitely help individuals study for test. For example, like the quiz that we do in class. If you do your homework, there's a high chance you'll score better than people that don't do homework. So yeah, so that is a very important point. So we have Kevin and Lee left.
I'll go.
Perfect. Go ahead, Lee.
Think I don't think homework should be banned in school because homework is like a key part of learning. Some people might argue that it's like a waste of time because they're learning it in school, but homework is a good review and you can like review things and then like you'll get better knowledge and it'll get stuck in your brain.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, so reiterating what other students also said too, it will kind of get stuck in your brain if you keep on practicing and practicing because it's like repetition will help drill it into your mind. All right, thank you, Lee. Kevin?
I believe that homework should not be banned, even though many kids don't like doing it. Homework is actually very helpful. It leaves us a chance to practice what we learn at school, just like in sports or music. The more we practice, the better we get. If we don't review what we learn we might forget it. Homework also teaches us important life skills. When we finish our homework on time, we learn how to be responsible, organized, and independent. These things that will help us not just in school, but when we grow up and have jobs. Some people say that homework takes away time from fun and family. That can be true if there's too much, but the answer isn't to ban it. The answer is to give the right amount. A little bit of homework helps us grow and learn without making us feel overwhelmed. Instead of banning homework, we should make sure it's useful, fair, and not too long. That way, many kids can still have time to relax and also become smarter and more responsible.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Kevin, for that amazing and in-depth response to the speaking debate. And thank you all for participating in today's speaking debate and sharing your stance on this question. So yeah, some people say homework should be banned and some people said they shouldn't. Okay, so we reached the end of the class. I'm going to quickly go over the homework. So here's the homework. Just remember to review the slides from today, read out the new terms, try to memorize them so that you guys will get perfect on next week's quiz. And then we also have a writing assignment, which is optional here. Write about a time when you were hesitant to try something new or take a risk. What pushed you to change your mind and what was the outcome? So I think it's a bit different from last week's one. All right, does anybody have any questions before we end class? No?
No.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to class, and I'll see you next week. Hi, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.